Welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Scott Anderson, and it's time to do a quick update on the 210 and the 24-gallon tank. Now, fact of the matter is, not a lot's changed. I've been really busy, but some stuff is going on. First, I got a little warfare going on. You can see the bubble coral's got its tentacle out. It's stinging the frog spawn, and you can see these heads here have been beaten back pretty bad. My tank is just overgrown. This is kind of how it goes. As stuff grows out, they're gonna battle. I've got a choice of letting the battles happen or moving stuff. For the time being, I'm going to let things go and see how it goes. But probably, I'm gonna end up moving some frog spawn around. I've also got a similar situation going on between these two Montiporas. You can see them kind of growing together and interlacing, and it's a really cool look. So as long as these guys aren't fully overgrowing each other and they're more blending, I'm gonna let that happen too, because that looks really awesome. Now, Montipora growth has just been huge. The colonies are looking great. Everything's doing good. This purple one started off as a relatively small frag and continues to grow at a really good pace. And I like this spiring effect that it's getting a swirl effect right in the center, right next to the orange plating, and that's doing really well. This orange plating in my last update video is the one where I glued those plates on. I'm kind of trying to give you the highest shot I can possibly give of it, but it has colored up and it's looking much better than it did. And that's kind of the effect that I shoot for with these. Is I like the plating look, I like to prune them back, and then you gotta figure out something to do to make them look cool. And that's how I did that one, and it worked out really well. I'm getting to the point where I have way too many coral. So if my life ever frees up and I'm not too busy, I'm really gonna have to make some hard choices about which corals I keep and which corals stay in the tank. Some of them, it's a no-brainer. But these frog spawn and hammers, they just keep overgrowing each other. So I've got to prune those back. This bubble coral's amazing and will definitely trump any frog spawn or hammer. And it looks fantastic. But around the corner, my little Kenya tree, it's lost the war. The Sinulera is massive. It completely crowds it out. So it either needs heavily cut back or one of those two needs removed. Now, this whole side of the tank is a problem for me. This clam is absolutely massive. And I really just need to redo this whole corner to make room for the clam. Now, that's easier said than done, as I have a lot of big coral in this corner. So definitely this pally colony on the bottom, that would be easy to let go of. The huge Sinulera looks amazing, but it's not all that colorful. And I've got a ton more of it in the tank. I've got a whole nother colony of it right here. So nothing's gonna happen soon. I'm real big on doing stuff slowly, just kind of coming up with a plan and executing it when I feel like it. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, my personal life is extremely busy. So just finding time to work on this tank can be difficult for me. I have the normal spring and summer projects that probably everybody has. And of course, I've also got a rental property that I've mentioned to you guys before. Well, that is up for sale. I'm looking to close on that relatively soon, although a disaster has hit over there, and I am in the middle of getting all of that fixed. So, for the last 2 weeks, I've been dealing with a rental property, normal projects, life, and the tank has fallen to the wayside, which sucks, but that's kind of how it goes. Now, the 210 is faring really well considering moderate neglect. Today was the first day I got around to doing water changes, and it's also the first time in a long time that I've changed out my carbon and GFO. Now, as soon as I'm done with this video, I gotta start ordering more carbon. I'm a big believer in carbon and GFO. It's part of why I think my tank looks as good as it does. Now, a lot of you have mentioned in the past that carbon is thought to be one of the reasons tanks get HLLE, so head and lateral line disease. Well, some of that blue tang has been in this tank, well, in my tanks, for about 5 years now, and it's never shown a sign of HLLE. So at least the bulk Reef carbon that I'm using doesn't seem to cause that problem. Now, there is some evidence to show that it could be, but it seems like as long as the nutrition is good for the fish, in my case at least, they don't develop that problem. And now on to the 24-gallon tank. The blue spotted jawfish is doing great. He looks amazing, but he has caused problems in this tank. So if you'll look at the rock, you'll see that it's covered in sand. This guy digs a burrow out and he has put sand all over everything, making a massive mess. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about that. One option is this jawfish will go to the 210, where I'm much better equipped to take care of a sand issue. I've got a lot of water flow in there that'll blow that sand down. Unfortunately in here, that's a little more of a problem, but maybe I'll just buy a pump for in here to help keep the sand down. It's not a guarantee, but that would probably help keep it off the rocks. And the rest of the coral is doing, well, just okay. That sand is the biggest problem. The other problem is I'm not getting water changes done like I should. And I think we can see a mix of sand and water changes affecting that purple Monty. Now, one thing I've mentioned in the past was I thought the bad color on these was due to the metal halide, but I think it's actually more due to the fact that this sits right next to a south-facing window. And when the natural light's open, well, I think that's what gives it the different color, is just the amount of natural light this tank gets is what's causing the Monties to give this color. So anyways, thought I'd give you guys a quick update, tell you how the tanks are going. Really, they're being neglected. I hate to say it, but every year I go from being obsessed with my Reef to just trying to get by. I think a lot of you are probably running into the same thing I am. So thank you for watching this episode of Mile High Reefers. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.